Hello everybody, welcome. Today we're talking about gift sets from Tarte. I'm not going to be talking about larger palettes, which you may see lurking back here in the background. I'm going to save those for their own video. There's just a lot to talk about there, and I kind of had to split this up somehow. So the focus of this video is going to be 4 different, sort of less expensive, smaller kits. One of them is a brush set, another one is an eyeliner set, also a blush set, and a set of their lip paints that actually includes kind of like 2 packages of lip paints in one. So we're going to cover all that right now. You may notice that the overall theme for Tarte's 2016 holiday line is sort of an artsy geometric print on the outer packaging. It's called Works of Tarte. That's what they're calling the whole thing, and I like that. I think it's fun to look at. It's cute. In this blush set, for example, which is what I'm going to talk about first, you just have a pull-out tray here. Nothing too fancy, but you can see each of the blushes have that sort of artsy, colorful pattern on the outside. Now, this blush set really is not one of my top recommendations from this video. I felt like it was a little bit lacking. You're getting 4 shades, a peach that's called Vibrant, a pink, a cool bright pink called Pop, a dusty rose called Genius, and then sort of a bronzy shade that still has a little rose in it when you sheer it out on the cheeks, and that's called Royal. Along with those blushes, you're getting a brush, which is really pretty in design. You know, it's got this nice gold handle, but it's very light and wispy. It really strikes me as a better blush for highlighter, especially considering the fact that I think 3 out of these 4 blushes just don't pick up well with this brush. This is a really nice item to have for your super intense highlights where you only need a little bit, or maybe even certain blushes that you feel that way about, like, oh, I just need to tap in slightly because it's just so feathery, super, super light. I think several of these blushes require a much more dense brush to really pick them up and get the most out of them, because the swatches really just weren't that impressive of these shades. These are all matte blushes, and I do appreciate that. It's kind of nice to not see a bunch of sparkly filler hiding out in these colors, but the corally peach shade, the light pink, I thought were very weak. The strongest shade to me is no doubt that color called Genius, which I do like. It's a nice dusty rose, a little bit of mauve in that shade. You can see me applying that one on my cheeks today, and I just think it's really pretty. Royal, you might think, well, can that be a contour shade? I have tried to contour with it a little bit, and I feel like I do see just a little bit of rose coming out of that color, and it's just not quite effective enough as a contour, and it's just kind of weak all around. For me to really only like one of the blushes in this kit, I just don't think it's worth the $35. Next up, we've got something that I really liked, and it's the Wing Workers, I think they're calling it, Deluxe Tarteist eyeliner set, and this is $35. And with this, again, you're just going to slide out a little tray here, and you've got 4 of their sort of like hybrid gel liquid liners. This is such a cool formula. This is the first time I've ever experimented with this, is getting this kit, because this formula has been out for I think quite a while from Tarte's line. And then they give you a double-ended brush. One end is a nice fine pointed tip. The other end is a small angled tip. You could use that with these liners, or I have used that angled tip just with powder shadows to sort of blend in with my eyeliner. But the 4 colors in this set are aubergine, so it's kind of like a brownish wine color, black, bronze, and navy. Bronze seems to have the most like shimmer in it, but it still does set, and that shimmer doesn't just go everywhere, so I was impressed to see that. Navy has a teeny bit of sheen in it as well, but your black and aubergine are totally matte. Now, in terms of the amount, I believe you're getting about half the amount of a full size in each one of these. So considering you're getting 4, the price tag is $35, and you're getting the double-ended brush, I think it's a pretty good deal. And just the format of these, if you've never tried these are so unique. You twist off the top, you actually have what looks like a small palette, and there's a little bit of a rim that comes up around the outside. And I think that's so perfect for getting just the right amount of product loaded on your brush quickly, because sometimes that's the issue with just dipping into a pot of gel liner, is that you get so much on your brush, you end up swiping it off on the side. Sometimes it takes a while. Here, you just kind of squeeze up just the tiniest bit that you need out of the top, and then load up your brush with just as much as you need, scrape off easily on the side any excess, and then you can glide it right across the lash line. It goes on so easily, and this is the point in the application, it almost makes me think of a liquid. You know, they're fully opaque, they're really super pigmented, but the ease of the glide applied across the lash line just really makes me think of liquid liner. So I love this stuff. Also in this product's favor, they do set. They don't take that long to set, and once they do, it's a totally long wearing finish. So I think this is a great little way to try out these liners if you're looking for a totally new format of liner and you get a little frustrated with your gel liners in the pot. I think this style of liner is really genius. And the brush is fantastic too. Totally usable. This is not a throwaway type tool. You're going to want to use that because it's got the perfect fine tip for doing a little wing. I did that with the aubergine shade and I just was so impressed. Another kit that I really liked and kind of surprised me that I did enjoy it so much is this Tarteist and Nicole Concilio collaboration. And this is a 6-piece brush set. You're getting 3 face brushes and 3 eye brushes in here. Really love the design of the brush. Again, it's simple. It's kind of like that one brush that was in with the 4-piece blush set. There's a nice weight to these brushes, and I just think it was a pretty smart selection of brushes to have in a smallish kit like this. I'll try to use the actual names that they've given these, but the first one is this Beauty in the Buff Air Buki foundation brush. Really dense. I have used this for both powder and liquid foundations. It's a great little buffing brush. I think this brush could be a big game changer for people who want to get maximum coverage out of a powder foundation because it's just so dense. You can really buff it into the skin easily, but it's worked great with liquids as well. So I think it's kind of cool to have that. I didn't really have a brush exactly like this. Another brush that I think was great to have in here for a smallish brush set where you're going to need some things to multitask is this one. And this is called the Face Framer Powder Brush, I believe. You might think, well, is that the same thing that was in this kit? No, this is a fuller brush, much more dense. This can easily apply face powders, blushes, bronzers. It's a perfect size because it's not oversized, but if you do want to use it for something like bronzer, you're not going to get that streaky application. You could also take things down the neck and feel like, okay, that's a substantial enough brush, but it's got that nice little taper toward the tip, almost like this egg-shaped design that makes it more precise if you want to pick up product right on the tip or just use it for blush. It's easy to pat on. You're also getting a fan brush, and I have like one fan brush that I don't especially even like that much in my collection, and I do enjoy this one. The fan brush that I have is so super like slim like that. I don't feel like I pick up much product. This, if you look at it head on, see how well it's a very light and wispy brush. There is some thickness to the bristles there, so if you want to dust on some highlight like right on top of the cheekbones, I may start using a brush like this for my highlight because it is so easy. It picks up product very effectively, so I enjoy that. And then your 3 eye brushes. You do have a full blending brush that I think does the job very nicely. This could definitely be like something I could throw in my mix of brushes and use it interchangeably with my Sigma E40, which is often what I use bare, but I have used this in testing this set. I've used this to apply shadow to the crease and it does it really well. Everything in this kit is very soft. I have not noticed any shedding. I also really like this pencil brush because it can do all the functions of a pencil brush that I feel I need, which may be doing some smudgy liner on the lower lash line, but it's got a little more give to the bristles than a lot of pencil brushes do, and that allows you to do kind of like the work of my Essence of Beauty fine crease brush, really getting some shadow right there in the crease, applying it, moving it around, shaping an outer V. It can be useful in that respect too, so I appreciate that. And then the brush this one took me a little bit longer to warm up to because it looks like just one of those random sort of angled cut brushes, and I thought, wouldn't it have been nice to have something that could really pack shadow on the lid? This has just enough, barely there taper to pack some shadow on the lid, or you can go head on from the tip and actually, boom, 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 get some shadow on there. But this also does make for a very easy crease brush. It's full enough to where you can pick up like a light to medium crease shade, pop it, wedge it right there in your crease, and then just go back and forth, and that's very easy. So while I don't really feel like there's any dud brush in the collection, this was probably the one where I was like, okay, how is it best to use this? And I have figured out that it can pat on some shadow okay, but it really does work nice in the crease as well. So I think for a 6-piece brush set, it was pretty well put together, and I think it would make a nice gift for somebody who's just building up their brush set because, it's not overwhelming, but every brush really does have its place. and I think it's also got an impressive look to it too. I love the gold all over. Like I said, these don't feel like cheap brushes. There's a little bit of weight to them. I kind of like to see that. So to me, I think this is one of the high points of Tarte's holiday collection. Last thing I want to chat about in this video, in this round of, you know, smaller sets that Tarte has put out, they've got this Limitless Lippies collection. This would be the most expensive thing I've mentioned so far. It's $42, and the way they've packaged it is you're getting two, like 4-packs of their Tarteist lip paints, and this is a matte formula lip paint. There are 4 in each box, and you could certainly buy this for yourself, keep them all, or you could gift one set to somebody, and you could kind of mix them up a little bit if you feel like, oh, I want to give this set to somebody, but I know they'll never wear that red shade. You know, you could do a little swapping out if you wanted to. I'm going to just breeze through all of the shades first and then talk a little bit more about the formula. But in the first set, you've got a nude shade called Candy, a deeper rose called Perf, you've got a brown called Latte, and a really deep burgundy called Soul. In your next kit, you've got kind of this deep nude called Honey. You've got Manny, which is the shade I've been wearing throughout the video, which turns out to be kind of like a deep mauve. Spicy is a nice deep rose, and then Juicy is your red with a little bit of added depth in that shade as well. Overall theme for all of these colors, I feel like, is dusty tones. You're not getting a lot of like pure, full-on, you know, hot pink or light pink over here. There are a lot of these kind of trendy, neutral, deep nude type shades. And something to keep in mind with these, although these aren't the worst offenders in the whole scope of liquid lipsticks, but something to definitely be aware of is that these shades do often turn out a little bit or sometimes a lot bit deeper on your actual lips. For example, I'm wearing Manny. I think this looks a lot lighter in the tube than it ended up looking when it fully dried down on my lips, you know? And these are kind of a light mousse-like texture. They are pretty easy to apply. They feel kind of lightweight on your lips, but they don't offer any real moisture back to your lips. When I press my lips together, I'm not feeling really a lot of hydration or like, okay, now I can feel a little more creaminess. No, they are kind of this light, sort of dry mousse-like texture, and while they do dry down considerably on your lips from where they start in this kind of creamy state, they don't 100% set. I can kind of rub across them with my finger and still pick up some color. That being said, they are pretty good in terms of staying power, and I do think Tarte made a wise decision with this formula in including a lot of these kind of medium shades. Like there is one very, very dark one, and I thought it highlighted the dryness in my lips tremendously. Now I've been battling a cold, so I've maybe got more dryness than you might have on a day-to-day basis, but if your lips are dry, are the least bit flaky, the dark shades really show it. The medium shades kind of mask it a little bit more. For me personally, I'm appreciating more of the creamy lipsticks that are out there, the things that make my lips feel comfortable and hydrated and nourished. These don't really fall into that category, but I know there are some people who absolutely love just the staying power and the practicality of a, you know, a liquid lipstick type product. And these I don't think are maybe as drying as some that I've used, but I gotta be honest, they're not giving a lot of moisture back to my lips either. I do like the thought behind the set where you've got 2 easily giftable things here, but just use your own judgment and think to yourself, do I like something that is that matte finish, that does have pretty impressive staying power on my lips, really doesn't run a lot of risk of drifting outside the lip line, or am I more the person who's going to go towards something that feels like a balm or feels really soft and creamy and that sort of thing. Sometimes I feel like these liquid lipsticks can just flake off almost in a layer off of my lips, and these, I gotta give them credit, they're a little better than that, but you know what you're getting here. You're getting a matte finish product that is going to feel kind of dry. So again, more Tarte reviews to come on those bigger collections, but for now, I definitely want to give you my recommendation for these eyeliners, which I think are my tip-top thing that I've talked about today, but I also think this is a really fantastic brush set that they've put out as well. So thank you so much for watching. Continue to give me your requests for holiday videos you'd like to see, and I will see you soon. Bye.